It's a new day, and I'm feeling so alive with you. I'm feeling so alive with you. You're making all things brand new. So crazy to believe that nothing's ever gonna come between all the love that you have for me. It's a new day, and I'm feeling so alive with you. I'm feeling so alive with you. Step out, take a breath, knowing you're right beside me, always looking up. Your face is all that I see. Your love within me sets my spirit free. Now you got me singing. It's a new day, and I'm feeling so alive with you. I'm feeling so alive with you. You're making all things brand new. So crazy to believe that nothing's ever gonna come between all the love that you have for me. It's a new day, and I'm feeling so alive with you. I'm feeling so alive with you. You hear every word. God, I know you're listening. You know every hurt. You turn it all to dancing. Your love within me sets my spirit free. Now you got me singing. It's a new day, and I'm feeling so alive with you. I'm feeling so alive with you. You're making all things brand new. So crazy to believe that nothing's ever gonna come between all the love that you have for me. It's a new day, and I'm feeling so alive with you. I'm feeling so alive with you. I'm feeling so alive with you.
It's all looking so bright. It's all feeling so right. It's all looking so bright. It's all feeling so right.
And I'm feeling so alive with you. I'm feeling so alive with you. You're making all things brand new. So crazy to believe that nothing's ever gonna come between all the love that you have for me. It's a new day, and I'm feeling so alive with you. I'm feeling so alive with you. You're making all things brand new. So crazy to believe that nothing's ever gonna come between all the love that you have for me. It's a new day. It's a new day. I'm feeling so alive with you. It's a new day. I'm feeling so alive with you. Feeling so alive with you. I'm feeling so alive with you.
Hey guys, I'm so excited to be back with you guys for Kid Connect at home. I've missed you the last few weeks, so I'm really thankful that Pastor Taylor could step in and hang out with you guys for a little bit. Well, today we are going to be hearing from John about how God is good. Did you know that? Did you know that God is good? Well, before we hear from him, let's go over our remember verse. Know therefore that the Lord your God is God. He is the faithful God, keeping his covenant of love to 1,000 generations of those who love him and keep his commandments. Deuteronomy 7:9. We've been doing this verse for a few weeks now, so I hope at this point you're starting to pick it up and starting to remember it every week. All right, well, let's jump in and hear from John all about how God is good and how he showed that to Joseph.
Have you ever read the news? Have you ever read the news or watched the news on television or even just heard about the news? The world is kind of amazing and crazy, and all around the world, crazy things seem to happen. Bad things seem to happen. And yet when we learn about God, we know that God is good. Sometimes it's hard to understand that God can be good, and yet the world and situations and the challenges we live in are often bad. How can God be good, but life can sometimes be bad? Well, our story today kind of talks all about this, how God is good and we can trust him, and how he's always with us, even though sometimes we face bad situations. You see, our story is all about a guy called Joseph. You see, Joseph was one of the youngest sons of Jacob. Jacob had many sons, but Jacob really loved Joseph. You see, God had a special plan for Joseph, and God had given Joseph this special ability to have dreams about the future. He was also able to understand people's dreams and know what people's dreams were. That's a pretty cool thing. See, God was good to Joseph, but at the same time, some of the things that happened to Joseph were not really good. You see, Joseph was loved by his father Jacob, but his brothers were often jealous of Joseph. Joseph had this ability to have dreams, and that made his brothers even more jealous. So jealous that once they actually captured him and they sold him into slavery. Can you imagine your brothers selling you into slavery? That meant that Joseph became a servant a long way away in a place called Egypt, in a man's house called Potiphar. And even his time there, while he served really well and he did the best that he could, even his time there ended badly. I mean, how bad can things get for Joseph? People told lies about him, and that meant that Joseph was thrown into prison for something he didn't even do. Can you imagine how things could get even worse for Joseph? In prison, some people promised to help Joseph get free, but they ended up forgetting all about him for a really long time. But God was good to Joseph, even though life was sometimes bad. This was seeming like Joseph's life was going from bad to worse. Many years later, eventually, Joseph's ability was heard about by Pharaoh, the leader of all of Egypt. And Pharaoh had been having some really bad nightmares, and he called for Joseph to be released from prison so that he could interpret the meaning of those dreams. God used Joseph in that whole situation to save Egypt. He gave the answer that Pharaoh needed. He gave the right advice to Pharaoh for Egypt. He saved them from a massive famine. And because of that, and through that, Joseph was able to even save his family from starvation. How crazy is that? Throughout his life, Joseph was put in a lot of tough situations. He was out of his comfort zone, but God never left him alone. God was always good. Even when life was bad, God is good. He's always with us. He's always there to help us. God always wants to redeem the bad things and make them good. God works these bad things and brings good out of them. We just have to be people who trust in him, just like Joseph did.